Greetings everyone, and welcome back to our next episode of Tank Encyclopedia's bi-weekly report. We hope everyone is staying healthy and safe during this trying time. Make sure you're taking recommended precautions and do your best to look after those you are with. This time around in gaming news, we'll be taking a look at the changes for World of Tanks coming in the 1.9 update, which is going to bring with it a few new tanks, a great quality of life improvement for low-tier vehicles, and a radical streamlining of the various tech trees in the game. First up, the quality of life changes. Following the success of testing on the sandbox server, all vehicles in tiers 1 through 6 will be receiving an increase to their hit points, in an effort to increase their overall performance and improve the gameplay experience for new and experienced players alike. It will ensure that there is less of a jarring transition between the low to mid tiers of the game and the higher ends of the tech tree, as well as aiming to allow new players to learn more from each battle due to the increased survivability of the vehicles. Along with this hit point increase, vehicles at these tiers will also have their ammunition capacity adjusted accordingly, as otherwise many tanks may find themselves hampered by running out of ammunition prematurely. Now, for the changes to the tech tree, in the introduction of the collector's vehicles. The tech trees of each nation are going to be streamlined and rearranged to make some of the older ones, such as the German and Soviet trees, much easier to understand for new or returning players, as over time they have become bloated with more and more lines being added. In order to achieve this, 92 different vehicles from across all tiers and nations are going to be removed from the regular tech trees and placed in a new subsection of the in-game shop called Collector's Vehicles. Vehicles in this group will be available for purchase once you have unlocked a vehicle of the corresponding tier in that nation's tech tree, and will not require experience to unlock. To give an example, in order to purchase the Jagdpanther 2, you will have to reach tier 8 in the German line, whether that be via the Tiger 2, the Ferdinand, the Panther 2, or any other vehicles at that tier. As well as this, some vehicles are being moved around in the tech trees, either between tiers or between classes, such as the Crusader, which is being moved from tier 5 to tier 6 and also being redesignated as a light tank. Finally, 3 new vehicles are going to be added to the game. The BT-5 as a tier 3 Soviet light tank, the T-6 medium as a tier 4 American medium tank, and the Cavalier as a tier 5 British medium. The BT-5 is a light tank very similar to the type of the BT-2 and the BT-7, which are already present in the game, and will prove to be highly mobile with a somewhat punchy gun for its tier. The T6 Medium, meanwhile, will replace the M3 Lee as the direct predecessor to the M4 Sherman, as was in reality one of the prototypes that was produced during its development. Finally, the Cavalier will represent a mix of vehicles that were developed alongside the Cromwell, and will replace the Crusader as its predecessor in the tech tree. As always, more information on the upcoming update can be found in the link in the description to the World of Tanks website, including an extensive FAQ which should address most questions players will have about the update. You can also find links to historical information on all 3 of the new vehicles in the same place. And now on to our new articles. The first article we would like to present is the heavy tank T29. Designed as a tank that could withstand anti-tank guns and engage fortified bunkers, the T29 was a 66-ton vehicle with a heavily armored turret and a 105mm T5E1 gun. After development, the front hull presented 102mm of frontal armor at a 54-degree angle for an effective thickness of 228mm of armor. The turret was 158mm thick at the front, and with the mantlet, the armor rose to 305mm. The main gun was the 105 T5E1, which used 2-piece ammunition with 2 loaders to achieve a fire rate of 6 rounds a minute. 63 rounds could be stored, and the T29 could have been equipped with a variety of ammunition types, including APC-BC, HE, and HVAT. Powered by the 12-cylinder Ford GAC, the T29 used its 750 horsepower engine to move at a top speed of 35 kilometers an hour, climb a 30-degree slope, or ford over a meter of water. Unfortunately, this vehicle was developed too late into the war for it to enter combat, and transport proved to be problematic for such a large vehicle. However, the equipment and modules that were developed in the process of making the T29 also helped future tank developments for the U.S., including the cross-drive transmission and the 105mm gun. 7 of the 10 vehicles survive to this day at the National Armor and Cavalry Museum, Fort Jackson, the Detroit Arsenal, and the Anniston Army Depot. This article was written by Bayou Criswillo and was illustrated by David Beauclair. The second article that we will be covering is the Panhard 178 CDM. This armored car started as a Panhard 178 that was assigned to the Vichy regime's forces in southern France, and was part of the weapon caches that the CDM were hoarding in secret. It was decided that the current Panhards would need upgraded armaments, and as a result, the process of manufacturing 45 new turrets for these vehicles would take place. Designed by engineer Joseph Rostani in a hotel room, these new turrets would have a pyramidal-like structure and sported 20mm of armor on all sides, and with 10mm of armor on the roof. This turret would be rotated by hand and then locked into place before firing. The 2 additional crew members in this turret would man either the 47mm or 25mm gun that were mounted. Manufacturing was performed in secret, with about 9 turrets being manufactured in a month until all 45 were completed. They were then shipped out to the various units to be mounted. As the Vichy forces dissolved, Germans found the vehicles, and some were put to use by German security troops. At the end of the war, it is unknown what happened to most of these vehicles, but one does await restoration at the Samura Tank Museum. This article was written by Victor Belhote and was illustrated by David Beauclair. Other recent articles include the Sturmpanzerwagen CV9030N, the M13/40 in Egyptian service, and the Landwehrzug. That's all for this report. Make sure to follow our website. We'll be releasing new articles on the regular. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Reddit. If you use Discord, there's a link to our community server in the description. And if you'd like to help us to continue and develop and expand, consider donating on Patreon. All of the funds will be used to help us enhance and design new articles and features for you. I'm Nathaniel, and until next time, keep us in your sights.